Hey guys, it's Anna and welcome to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to do a full face of makeup using products that I never use. Now I'm actually pretty good about rotating all the products in my collection and using most of them, but there definitely are some products that I just don't really gravitate towards. They're just kind of like they do the job, but and then I have those products that I'm like, why did I buy this again? And then I have those products that I just haven't gotten around to using quite yet, and I thought this would be the perfect video to give them a try. So if you want to see what makeup products I never use, then go ahead and keep watching. So for my eyes, I'm going to be using the Ciate London Pretty Fun and Fearless palette. This was made in collaboration with Chloe Morello. There's nothing wrong with this palette. It is beautiful. Like, I love the colors in here, but genuinely, I've just never gotten around to using it because I have so many eyeshadow palettes in my collection, and I don't wear eyeshadow every single day. I really want to make it more of a habit to pick up an eyeshadow palette more frequently just because I have a lot to use up, but I'm super stoked to try this out today because it looks incredible. So I'm going to start off with the shade Skinny Dip, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this in my crease. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up loving this palette because I've tried her Volume 2 palette and really enjoyed it, so I'm not really expecting anything to go wrong. I already know quite a few things are going to go wrong today, but I don't think it's going to be on the eyes. So far it's blending quite nicely, but as you can see, we've got quite a bit of fallout. That doesn't bother me though because I just always do eyes first, but some people really care about that, so I just wanted to mention it. I do think that there shouldn't be a ridiculous amount of fallout with high-end palettes, but I mean, fallout basically means that it's going to be pigmented, but it shouldn't be so ridiculous to a point where you're just wasting a lot of product. And then I'm going to pick up a bit of this shade called Jet Setter. It's a really pretty mauve, and this is going to act as like a second transition shade because I want to do a really pretty mauve look since I don't do those too often on my channel. And then I'm just popping some more in the crease just to slowly deepen this up. I will say that that color really isn't sticking onto my eyes. Whenever I try to blend it, it blends it away. As you can see, this is a lot more vibrant in the pan than it is on my eyes. So I guess next I'm going to go ahead and dip into the shade Daydream. I'm going to place this, that one's pigmented. I'm going to place this in the outer corner and in the inner corner because I want to do a halo eye today. I'm going to go in one more time with the shade Jet Setter just to blend this a little bit better. And then I think I just want to add a little bit more warmth to this look, so I'm going to pick up the shade Unconditional, and I'm going to pop this in the crease area just so the whole thing doesn't look completely purple. I don't know, this is not my favorite palette. I feel like all the colors are just kind of meshing and blending into one. Like, it really just doesn't look like there's a lot of dimension going on. That deep purple was not the easiest to blend. The other colors are fine to blend, but I just feel like the pigment is just washing away really easily, so I'm not super impressed. I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease now. Some concealer, pop this in the center, look up so then it transfers, so then you know basically where to map out your cut crease. And this trick is great because then your concealer and eyeshadow won't transfer like above that or go anywhere crazy throughout the day, because this is literally like the highest that it can transfer. And then with a wet brush, I'm picking up the shade Dainty. I'm going to place that over that concealer. I feel like there's no shine to that color at all. This is supposed to be a shimmer shade, and I feel like that literally looks like the concealer. I'm so disappointed. I literally thought I was going to be over the moon obsessed with this. I really like her Volume 2 palette, but this just isn't that impressive to me. And then I'm taking the shade Daydream again. Like, see how pigmented that is when you first put it on, and then when you blend it out, like the color completely washes away. So I'm going to put this in the inner and outer portions again just to blend out the edges. So I've been sitting here trying to blend this purple for the longest time, like about 10 minutes, and I feel like it's just not budging, and this is the best we're gonna look. So moving right along, I'm gonna be using the Cover FX Blurring Primer. I have never used this before. It's been sitting in my collection for a while. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I think the reason I haven't used it yet is that I have dry skin, and the idea of a blurring primer, like pore filling primers, usually are like on my skin, and they just don't feel the best to me. I'm not really a super fan of like silicone-y primers. Oh wow. Do you see that? That looks freakishly good. It literally looks like I just applied Facetune Smoother on this cheek. I cannot see one pore or one hint of texture. We found a gem. It definitely has that silicone feel to it, but it's not drying at all, and it's so soft. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using the Covergirl Outlast All Day Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation, and this is in the shade Golden Tan. Can you guess why? I never use this. Now, the reason I have this in my collection, as I'm sure most of you have noticed, a lot of YouTubers fake tan, a lot of them, and I fell into the hype, man. I was like, yeah, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna fake tan all the time. I'm just gonna exude like bronze goddess vibes, so I gotta buy some dark foundation shades. And I'm way too busy of a person to consistently have on fake tan. Like, I've probably applied fake tan like 3 times in my life, and now I have this foundation, and also a high-end Born This Way foundation, which I'm so annoyed with myself about, because I would have rather just picked up my own shade. And I tan pretty easily too. I'm crazy. Oompa loompa doopa dee doo. If you were wise, you wouldn't buy this foundation in the first place. But as far as the actual foundation formula, I really like it. It has a matte formula. Lasts pretty well, actually, but it breaks me out, so I'm not super fond and loving of that. Hey, how you doing? Orange, you glad you don't look like this? It has pretty good coverage, actually, so that's appreciated. Let's layer on more of the orange. Moving on to concealer. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I have mine in the shade medium. Now, this is not a bad concealer. It's actually a really good concealer. But it's just very thick and tacky, and it doesn't have the little brush applicator. It's just a little messy. It's just a little annoying. And when I have all these options for concealer, I don't really like to use my finger to apply it. I don't think I will repurchase this when I run out. I'll definitely use it up because it is good. It's full coverage, blends nicely, but it's just so thick and tacky. It's just a lot. And then to set my under eyes, I'm going to be using the Dermablend Professional Loose Setting Powder. And I know I mentioned in my most recent makeup haul that I liked it. It really smooths out the skin, looks super airbrushed, but to be careful because it will leave a white cast. So that's why I only recommended using it under your eyes. But I've noticed since I've been using it more that it only agrees with like 50% of my makeup, and so I just don't use it anymore because I never know if my base is going to be completely screwed up by this or if it's going to be fine. It's very like hit or miss. I just don't really want to play the chance card while doing my makeup when I use this powder, so I just don't use it anymore. And by the way, when I said it doesn't agree with half my makeup, I mean it will like make my foundation and concealer pick up and look all splotchy. And then to powder the rest of my face, I'm going to be using this Bare Minerals Translucent Powder Duo. Now, this is not a bad powder at all, but just compared to my other powders, I never reach for it. I feel like my other powders give me more of a skin-like finish, and these just feel a little bit dry. They don't really wow me. So I'm going to dip into the glow side, which honestly, it doesn't even make your foundation glow. It just adds tiny little finely milled sparkles on your face. No one's gonna be able to notice. Only I can when I look super up close to a mirror. But both of these powders are matte, but the glow side just has like tiny little sparkles. Then to contour, I'm going to be using this BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Contour Palette. I just feel like these powders are a bit dry. There's way more better affordable options at the drugstore, and I feel like this is kind of a waste of money. Like, yes, it's super affordable, but literally I can only use these shades. I feel like these are very warm toned. Also, P.S. the reason it looks so used is because my sister gave this to me, so she used it a bit before she gave it to me. It wasn't her favorite either, for pretty much the same reasons. And also, I feel like these can be hit or miss as well. Like, some days I'll apply it and it looks so muddy and patchy, and other days it looks fine. And then for bronzer, it's not bad, but I just have way better options. So this is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This one is in the shade Sun Bronze. I just feel like this is a very dry formula. I spend a long time building this up. It's just not really impressive to me, but it works. It doesn't get patchy or muddy or look bad on the skin. I just wish it had more of a pretty airbrushed formula to it. So I just applied my brows off camera, but I use the MAC Lingering Eyebrows Crayon, and this doesn't seem to have a shade name. Maybe it's like a, you know, universal shade. But the reason that I don't use this is that I find it to be a bit warm in color. It actually looks perfect today, but that's probably because I'm super tan. When I have, you know, my normal skin tone, it does pull a little bit warmer than I would prefer. The formula, I don't dislike it, but I'm not in love with it. It's just a hair too dry from what I am obsessed with. And then I really wanted to try this out today. I have a really good feeling about this because this is from the Brow Gal, and I love their brow powder. It's so good. So this one is in the shade Brown Hair, and that has got to be the skinniest eyebrow gel applicator I've ever seen, which actually I really appreciate because that makes it super easy to get in there. It's super lightweight. It doesn't feel like sticky at all on my brows, but like look how much bushier that side looks. Then for blush, I have the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Drop of a Hat. This is an insanely beautiful color, and I know that it looks like I've used the crap out of this, but one night I was really bored and I just wanted to play around with this because I'm not really one to ever use a cream blush. This is literally my first one. I just think it's so much easier to deal with powder blushes. So I was experimenting with how I wanted to apply this, and then just for no reason at all, I literally applied the largest amount just for fun. I was going to bed anyway and I was going to wash it off. I'm 5 years old. I don't really have the perfect way to apply this. It's super pigmented and that's not what I want in a blush. So I don't like applying it with my fingers because I feel like I don't get that perfect airbrushed look. I don't like applying it with a sponge because it's way too much pigment all at once. I have duo fiber brushes, but it made it look splotchy. I know one of you guys said that you love this blush and you use Colourpop's duo fiber brush with it, and I've actually heard a lot of people say that that's the best way to apply it. I just happen to not have that specific brush, so I'm just going to deal with what I have. I'm going to dip my sponge in here, dab a little bit off on my hand so it's not so much pigment, and then apply it. Oh, that actually looks really freaking pretty. And then for highlight, I don't know why I bought this. Well, no, I do know why I bought this. I thought to myself, Anna, you need a multicolored highlighter palette because what if you need it for some, you know, tutorial at some point, like a festival tutorial, or you do something really colorful, like fairy inspired. What if you need a blue highlighter? And I've literally never touched one of the colorful highlighters in this palette. And because it's a colorful palette, I just never reach for it. I know it looks really used because I use this shade probably like 3 times in my life. This is the only one that I like in the palette because it's yellow, so it's wearable. This is the BH Cosmetics Blacklight Highlight Palette. The formula is so finely milled. It looks wet on the skin. These are pigmented. They're beautiful, but I just don't use these colors. Let's go with the purple. Let's do it, man. I've never used it before. And if we want to be real technical on this makeup I never use tutorial, this is, oh my gosh. Would you look at that? Honestly, that color is incredible. And then moving back to the eyes, I'm going to apply the shade Jet Setter to my lower lash line, which is that mauve shade. So I just applied some mascara, and I honestly don't have a mascara that I don't use because I keep 3 mascaras in my collection max because it's not like it's a ridiculously exciting product and they can dry out. Then moving on to lips, this is the Limecrime liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Scandal. I don't purchase from Limecrime anymore once I found out about, you know, all the scandals and stuff like that. I'm honestly really good about rotating through my lipsticks in my collection. I wear so many different colors, so many different formulas, but the color I wear the least is purple. I'll wear like cool toned grayish purples that are more wearable, but I just really don't wear purples. Well, if I wasn't looking purple before, I am now. So to set this in place, I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer Water Spray, and although this is a primer water, it does say on their website that you can use this to set your makeup. I just feel like this does literally nothing for me whatsoever. It doesn't make my makeup look good, and it doesn't make it last longer. It just, I really don't like it. And the spritzer of this thing is just really screwed up. It just sprays in all these different directions. By the way, I wanted to mention real quick that you cannot layer these liquid lipsticks because they will start to crumble and cake up, and they really get drying if you layer them. Luckily, most of them are super pigmented, but obviously as you get to the darker colors, you're gonna need to layer them up. So I would not recommend this color. It's getting a bit much on my lips and like super uncomfortable.
What was that?
I literally have like flakes of purple liquid lipstick all over my tongue. Alright guys, so here we have the finished makeup look. Although it's definitely not a makeup look that I love, I did have a lot of fun doing this for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And I actually found a few really good finds in this video, which is super exciting, and I will definitely continue to use those. So that is all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. If you might want to see me in any more videos, I would appreciate it so much. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!